I wanted to share something with you guys from the Gospel of John. It's in John chapter 1, verse 14. It says, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us." That really sums up the Christmas story in about 5 words. And the Word became flesh. What is the Word? The Word is Jesus. If you look in John chapter 1, verse 1, it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men." You know, for the longest time, I wondered, why did John choose the word interchangeably with Jesus? And there's a reason he chose that. The word in Greek is logos. Logos, in that time in the Greek language, was thought to be like a higher being, a higher power, so to speak. And so the Greeks recognized when John said the word, they recognized what he was referring to. On the flip side of that, the Jews also recognized what he was referring to, because in the Old Testament, it oftentimes God revealed himself to the Jews, and it would say, and the word came to so and so, and came to so and so. And so it was kind of a bridge word that John used so that both Greek and Jew would recognize that Jesus is the Word, but Jesus is also God. And that's the foundation of what Christianity is about. It sums up, in most simplest terms, the Christmas story, which is God sent his Son, his only Son, to dwell among us as a man. He was 100% man and also 100% God, coexistent. So it really just struck me, that the other Gospels, the Synoptic Gospels, they really, they told Jesus' story from a baby viewpoint. John tells the story of Jesus as pre-existent and coexistent with God the Father. When he says, "In the beginning was the Word," well, in the beginning of what? In the beginning of the beginning. He was never a plan B. He was always a plan A. He was it. He was coexistent with God. He says, verse 2 says, he was in the beginning with God. So he's with God, in communion with God in the beginning, before all of creation, because it says in verse 3, all things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. So you guys, God didn't just, make the heavens and the earth and put people on the earth and then realize, hey, they're sinners and they can't live up to my standards, so now I have to come up with a plan B. No. Jesus was there with God, as God, in the beginning, before creation, pre-existent, with God. So I thought that was a pretty neat takeaway from that, and a really cool summary of the Christmas story. Without a manger, without Mary, without Joseph, John tells it in the most simplest words, verse 14, "And the Word became flesh." So that's what Christmas is all about, is Jesus became flesh, became man, and dwelt among us. Emmanuel, God with us. So anyway, y'all be blessed. Merry Christmas.